Hey y'all, my name is Priscilla and welcome back to my channel, Bookie Charm. For today's video, I'm feeling kind of chatty, so I just want to talk about library books that I have on my shelf right now because I miss my library. Okay, so this is a video that of course isn't typical for my channel and I wasn't really planning on doing, but I miss my library terribly. It has been closed now for at least 2, maybe 3 weeks. And I had a couple of books checked out at the time whenever non-essential businesses like libraries were closed. So I have a couple of books I want to show you that I have either read or planning on reading, but in any case don't have an expiration date now. I can hold on to them for as long as the library is closed. So this isn't a TBR, this isn't a haul, this certainly isn't a quarantine TBR because those give me immense pressure and anxiety, but it's just books that I'm either considering to read sooner or later or have already read. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, but let's go ahead and start talking about them. So first up, I have Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. I don't think that I need to talk about this anymore because I think most people know what Pride and Prejudice is. I picked this up because I am participating in the Austen Anonymous project that is happening on BookTube, where we read a book of Jane Austen's work every month and then participate in a live show at the end of the month. I'm actually quite behind because this is actually the March book pick, and March was kind of the height of when everything with the pandemic was developing and happening, and day-to-day life sort of changed. So I still need to read this, and yeah, definitely want to read it, of course. Then I have Ayiti by Roxane Gay. This is a work of short stories written by one of my favorite authors. Roxane Gay is a queer, bi icon. She's Haitian, and most of her works, including this from what I've heard, are very hard-hitting, beautifully written, and I need to read it. It's also very short. I think this tops out at about 180 pages, so it's definitely novella length, but yeah, a work that I need to read so that way I have a full, I think just personally so I can say that I've read all of Gay's work. Then I have the Ballad of Black Tom by LaValle. This is a fantasy book written by an author that I've wanted to read more of his work. I've read The Changeling by LaValle, and I think that his writing subverts a lot of racist tropes that exist in fantasy, and that book was just so creepy and so like it felt like a fairy tale, but also modern at the same time with the language and the technology that was incorporated, and speaks to, I think, a more modern audience. This, I think, follows the tale of Red Hook, which is something I'm not familiar with, but this also plays with some of those notoriously racist tropes and kind of subverts them. And I'm really looking forward to reading this. Then we have a couple of books that I checked out actually for the BookTube SFF Awards, which have actually been extended. So if you're falling behind like me, they actually extended it for another month so you can read more of the books in anticipation for the live show and the finals announcements of the awards. So I have The Test by Sylvain Neuvel. This is another nominee in the short work novella category. It's very short. I think it comes out at like a little bit over 100 or so pages, and it takes place in a dystopian society where a man is attempting to sit for his British citizenship test. So I have read this book. It's hard to talk about because it's so short, but I will say that I think it hit sort of middle ground for me. It wasn't anything spectacular, but it was okay. I feel like I've watched way too much Black Mirror to be shocked by the twist that is in this book. And I think honestly, if it's just been executed a lot better by other authors. So it was okay, but The Test by Sylvain Neuvel. Then we have another novella short work pick for the BookTube SFF Awards. This is How You Lose the Time More, and it's a duo that actually wrote this. It's Max Goldstone, and the stickers covering the other author's name, Amal El-Mohtar. And sorry if I mispronounced that, but this is a story that follows two female spies as they are trying to outdo each other, and how they write these letters to each other over a span of time and space. It's one of the weirdest, most strangest books I've read all year. Certainly one of the most unique books I've read all year. It's science fiction, and I think it's beautiful. It's definitely going to be one of those polarizing books that you're just either going to love it or you're not, because the writing style is something that takes some getting used to, and it won't work for everyone, but I thought it was beautiful, and it's got some of the most beautiful prose in terms of like love letters that I've read all year, and yeah, I really enjoyed this. Then we have a book for the science fiction category in the BookTube SFF Awards called A Memory Called Empire by Akardy Martine. This is a book I really had no idea of what it was about until it was announced as a nominee for the shortlist. So this book is a science fiction space opera that follows a representative for an empire. One of the other representatives dies, and she's thrown into, he or she, I'm not sure, but they're thrown into this mystery and trying to understand alien cultures. I've heard that this also speaks a lot to linguistics, and that all intrigued me immediately. I will recommend watching Jocelyn over at Yogi with the Book, who's a judge for the BookTube SFF Awards, video. She did a review of this book that I thought was just spectacular and made me want to read it even more. So yeah, I'm hoping to get to this before my library reopens again, and this is obviously going to be due. Then I have How Long Till Black Future Month by N.K. Jemisin. So N.K. Jemisin needs no introduction at this point, unless you're living under a rock and don't follow SFF on BookTube. But this is her first short story collection, and N.K. Jemisin, of course, is amazing at all things in life, and I've been meaning to read this. I started a couple of the stories and realized I really wasn't in the mood for short stories at the time, so I've actually kind of DNF'd this softly. Not forever, just not for right now. But her work is just amazing, and I look forward to getting back to this whenever I feel like I need some more stories that are about fighting oppressive governments and mass turmoil and mass chaos, which is exactly what she does in her books and does so well. So How Long Till Black Future Month? And lastly, we have The Only Plane in the Sky, An Oral History of 9/11 by Garrett M. Graff. This is a book that I checked out. It was the last book I read for the octafinals of the BookTube Prize Nonfiction Award, and I really, really loved it. I really thought it was really well done, and I'm really glad that it's moving on to the quarterfinals. So this is a good time for me to gush about it again. If you haven't read this book, consider picking it up probably after the pandemic, after we come back to some sort of normalcy, because there's a lot in this that I think will trigger some anxious feelings we may all be feeling at this moment because of the unknown that is happening, but that is so an important history, an important record of what happened on September 11th, 2001 in the United States. That's this book, and if you want to hear more about it, I did talk about this at length, I think, in my Octafinals BookTube Prize video, so I'll make sure to link that above if you want to check that out. Okay, and that is all the books that I have currently checked out physically from my library. Yeah, I appreciate my library so much, and I'm hoping that they open very soon because I miss them so much. Even if we have like some sort of curbside service, that would be great. But yeah, so I would love to hear from anyone out there that uses the library like I do, and that maybe has some books that they're reading or read or that have no longer have any holds on them because their libraries have closed. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments below. If you have your own video, that'd be great too. But that's all I have for this video. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye.